Thank you, Jim. And can I just endorse what Jim has said about Demovo? I can't go through all the stuff he read out, but we're very pleased to have them as sponsors, and their Chief Executive, Robert Schwartz, and he's got some important people from overseas. We've even got Scotland here. You know nothing about the game, but we'll teach them. They've shown great judgment. They're supporting the greatest sporting club in Australia. They're supporting the greatest sporting club in Australia that has had the worst year in its history. It has been a terrible year. I know a lot of the players like Cooter and Rats, Brattles towards the end, Macca, Whitnell, Humey, Allen, so you go on. And we've just stood there and grinned and bared it. I mean, it was a very, very difficult year. When you look at the final eight, there is no doubt the Carlton Football Club should have been there. But we weren't. And the reason we weren't was the competition is so even today that when you lose all those great players, you find it immensely difficult to perform and win. The great thing that's happened at the Carlton Football Club this year that we have blooded some wonderful players. Young Spawn, Davies, Wiggins, Thornton, Livingston, and others. I forget them all, Campbell. We've done a job for the future. I suppose many of you are wondering, you know, we've all been under a lot of pressure as a result of what's happened. And I want to remind you of something that the great John Nichols, probably the greatest player, and he's here tonight, said at this club after we won the 1987 Premiership. And it's something that's always stuck in my mind, and it is this. The Carlton Football Club, and if you read that wonderful book that's been put out, the Carlton Football Club will be here long after all of us are gone. We're all a passing phase in the great history of this club. It is a fantastic club, and we all serve it in our best way. And that night when we just won the Premiership, Kernahan was the new captain. When John Nichols got up and said that, I sat there and thought to myself, he is exactly right. Here is the greatest player that's ever played for our club, John Nichols, saying, we're all a passing phase. The club is mightier than any of us. The Carlton Football Club is just the most fantastic club in this country. And the reason, of course, we create so much press, and the reason the other lot get into us is because we are good. And it's a very, very important fact. And the fact you're all here tonight, and the reason I've been involved in the Carlton Football Club since I was a 7-year-old kid, is because it is such a great club, and it is steeped in history, and it has won so many premierships. I did wish the Essendon president well, but I told him we didn't want him to go too far in the finals, and I don't think he will. So the last week has been quite a horrendous, or not horrendous, but a very important week for the Carlton Football Club. The club has decided to change its coach. And I have to say to Wayne Brittain, I know he's here tonight, that he has done a mighty job for the Carlton Football Club. Done a mighty job. He is a person that puts his all into the job. He is a person that is open, he is determined. He's probably one of the great, I think, match day coaches, his tactics and strategy. He probably wouldn't have got the job without the support of David Parkin, who we revere in this club. But he has been at Carlton for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, and he has done a fantastic job. I feel very sorry for him. I feel sorry for him. We all do. And he will speak to you later tonight. We're going to get him up to speak. It's quite important, I think. The only reason the Carlton Football Club, the committee of the Carlton Football Club, have changed the coach is because Dennis Pagan became available. We regard Dennis Pagan as probably the best, if not with Lee Matthews, whatever, one of the 2 or 3 best coaches in the AFL and has a very successful history. We could have gone on with Wayne and he may have turned turmoil or disappointment into triumph. But we on the board, myself, and a lot of people see me as the only person at the Carlton Football Club, but we do have a board that has a lot to say, and so they should. We have a responsibility to do the best by this football club. Otherwise, you ought to throw us all out. You should. But we do our best. For 20 years, I've done my best. And we have had some great successes. So the board of the Carlton Football Club felt that because Dennis Pagan was available, and he wouldn't have been available next year, that we actually wanted to hire him and therefore retire Wayne Brittain. Now I say to Wayne Brittain, he leaves the Carlton Football Club with our best will. We know he's a quality person. We can write him the best, whatever he needs, what are those things called, you know, you have those things. We hope he goes on and coaches somewhere else, and I know he will. He is a person of great quality, and I do say, quite sincerely, that had Pagan not been available, he would have been coaching this team next year. We were not going for Wallace, we weren't going for Reid, we weren't going anywhere else. When Dennis Pagan became available, the Carlton Football Club, in its wisdom, unanimously decided to hire him. And we do think it is in the best interests of the club. But we do say to Wayne Brittain, you go with our best wishes. We thank you for the great contribution you've made to this club. I know a lot of the players have love you. They have great admiration for you. And all I can say to you is we're sorry, but our duty is to the Carlton Football Club to keep it the greatest sporting club in Australia. And we say to you, Wayne, we will do everything we can to assist you. You will always be welcome at Carlton, and we trust you have a very successful coaching years ahead of you. So I'd like you to be upstanding and propose a toast to 2 people, to the Carlton Football Club and to Wayne Brittain. I told him to bring one up.
I need 2 drinks.
To Wayne Brittain and to the Carlton Football Club. I've got nothing to drink here. On that note, while you're standing, we should all sing the most famous song, the best football song there is. And it goes like this. Dun da dun da da. Dun da dun da da. Dun da dun da 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 da. We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. With all the champions they like to send us, we'll keep our ends up and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark blues. Thank you. You can all sit down now, but before I sit down, and I think it's going to be an exciting night, I just want to say that we are going to go through a little bit of friction before the next couple of months are over. We would sooner not do that, but we have to do it. Tonight is not a night for politicking, and as president of the Carlton Football Club, I am not saying anything about the other ticket and nothing about our board. But what I do want to say to you all is this: would you please register to vote? The most important thing is this, that the members of the Carlton Football Club have their right to have their say. And I do not want people coming along to meetings and say, I don't have a right to vote. You have to understand that unless you register to vote for the meeting on October the 9th, you will not be allowed to vote. The registrations close on October the 1st. Somewhere at the back of this hall, I'm not quite sure where it is, I can't see with the lights on me, there is a place where you can register with your membership number, and if you can't come to the meeting, you can deliver your proxies. Carlton is a very democratic club, and I do think that this exercise will be good for Carlton, and I am certain that as we go forward over the next several years, as we go forward next year, we're going to have great success. Thank you all for coming tonight. I do thank Demovo for sponsoring the night, and let's hope we get the right winner. I don't know who that is, but it'll be a very enjoyable night, and as we know, the count's always fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. I nicked off with my script. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank John Elliott for his time tonight. Thank you, John.